Good evening and welcome to this week's Black Mental Health is Black Health. I'm your host, Bronwyn Lucas, and as always, my guest is an exciting person with lots of knowledge. In a minute, she will introduce herself, but you know what we do. We start off with some deep cleansing breaths. This allows us to have more oxygen in our brain and throughout our body and have that woosah moment. So let's do it. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. One more. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. How was that deep breathing for you?
Oh, it was awesome. Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
it allows us to just have that woosah moment. It's great.
Yes. Yes. When I was a classroom teacher, I would have my students do that to just get everybody centered before we get started.
Yes, deep breathing can change your world. So
And it's free.
yeah, it's totally free. And something you carry around with you all day, the ability to deep breathe. Well, I always ask my guests, tell us who you are and something cool about yourself. So I'm asking you the same thing.
Okay. Well, I have been married in May for 45 years to the love of my life, and we've known each other for over 50 years. And I have two amazing adult children. And something pretty cool about myself. Well, I'm a former counselor, high school counselor. And one pretty cool thing is in 2009, I went on a trip to South Africa and to Swaziland. Took a group of students, and we got a chance to meet the king of Swaziland and take a picture with him. And it was a pretty cool thing for the students to be able to say they actually met a king. So
That is exciting. Not everybody can say that. Wow,
no.
that is so cool. Well, LaVerne, we're here talking about health and food, actually. And, I know that there is a strong connection between food and health, and that's both our physical health, our mental health, are all attached to what we put in. Our body, we're a holistic being. So what goes in your mouth, what goes in your brain impacts who you are. So knowing that, I know that you had an interesting journey related to food and health. Can you tell us about your journey?
I'd love to. So I think it was 10, this is our 10th year anniversary, in fact, this month. And we were starting our, at that time, it was called Solemn Assembly at our church, New Life Fellowship. And now it's called Reset. And so the pastor asked, that we would do some fasting. And so my husband and I, we decided that we were going to give up meat. And so we did it for 30 days. We gave up meat. And at the end of 30 days, we were still alive. So we thought, okay, oh, this is not bad. My husband felt good. I felt good. And so when I went to my husband and I said, hey, do you want me to go ahead and start buying meat again? And he said, no, I'm good. And I said, you sure? And he said, yes. And so actually, it was just 1 month at a time. We just fed. Next thing we knew was February, then March, then April, then May. And next thing we knew was the holiday months. And I was trying to figure out how do you do a Thanksgiving dinner being plant-based?
So how do you do that? Tell me.
Well, okay, so remember dressing, you use vegetable broth and you still put all your veggies in there, your chopped onion, your celery, your bell pepper, and so you all those great seasonings. Really, the dressing, what's good about the dressing is the seasoning.
True.
sage and the poultry seasoning, the salt, the pepper. And so the dressing was amazing. A yam, a casserole, a sweet potato casserole. That's easily plant-based. You don't have to put any butter. You can use
Mhm.
plant-based butter in there. And so the only thing we left out was
The
actual
turkey.
meat. And
Mhm.
so, well, vegetables, collard greens and Brussels sprouts, all of those things are
Mhm.
great. And so the meat part. And so what we discovered the first year that we did it, we were just kind of missing the meat. But
Mhm.
as we learned more and more about being plant based, we sl- we use mushrooms. So mushroom, lion's mane, trumpet mushrooms have a meaty like texture. And so we started adding that. So this past Thanksgiving, we went and bought our mushrooms and we actually made like a mushroom steak with some gravy on top of it and some onions, and it was delicious. But initially that first year, I have to admit it was a little difficult trying to
Mhm.
figure it out. And but we did it and moved into Christmas and did, had a dinner that was plant-based for Christmas as well. But as time went on, we learned some of the recipes that we could incorporate in that could take the place of meat.
Cool. Now, how was your health affected by this change? Was it better,
Okay,
worse, what?
so
I'm sure
in
not worse.
30 days of being plant-based, when we
Mhm.
first did the first 30 days, my husband actually lost 16 pounds in 30 days
Wow.
being on plant-based diet. I, didn't fare as well, but I did well. I think I lost about 7 or 8 pounds
That's still
that
good.
first 30 days. And more importantly, we felt good.
Mhm.
We could tell the difference in our digestive system and our sleep and our mood. And
Mhm.
so we knew that this was something that we needed to pursue further because of the health benefits we were feeling so far just after 30 days. And we thought, okay, if this what happens in 30 days, what
Mhm.
happens in 3 months, 6 months, a year? And so we just went month by month and started noticing the difference. My husband, in 9 months, he lost about 95 pounds in 9 months, and that was without exercising. And I lost about 30 in 9 months, and I was exercising on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So we started to lose weight, and it was just amazing. And so we just kept it going.
So,
And
other than weight loss, did other things happen in your with your health?
oh my goodness, yes. So one of the things that I've had problems with in the past is blood pressure. I was
Mhm.
also diagnosed as pre-diabetic in the pre-diabetic range. So my blood pressure, I've been was taken off one of my blood pressure medicines. That generally doesn't happen at my age. They're just adding more
Mhm.
medication. So recently, my physical 6 months ago, doctor took me off one of the medications, and I am no longer in the pre-diabetic range. I am in the normal range for my blood
Good
sugar,
for you. Yes.
which was very important to me since diabetes ran on both sides of
Mhm.
my family, on my father's side and my mother's side, with my aunt, my father's sister being on dialysis in a wheelchair, her son on the
Mm.
list for kidney transplant, and my sister also passed away, and diabetes was the main culprit of her becoming chronically ill. So this was very important to me to get out of that pre-diabetes range. And I
Yeah.
must tell you, Brian, when I went to it's a slippery slope, because
Mm.
I went to the dentist for a dental appointment. I'll never forget it, in my 40s. And he said, "Hey, your blood pressure's kind of high." And I was like, "High blood pressure?" And he said, "You probably need to, go see your doctor." So I went to the doctor, high
Mhm.
blood pressure, I'm on medication. A few years later, I go for my physical, blood work comes back, doctor says that you're pre-diabetic. That's when
Mm.
I'm going in the same direction as my family.
Right.
That's when, and when he told me that at my visit, I cried. I
Mm.
cried
Especially
because
with
I
that
was
family
sitting there
history.
thinking I'm headed in the same direction as my family. So once I got through feeling sorry for myself,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, what do I need to do? And so at that point, I did make some lifestyle changes. That was prior to going on a plant-based diet. I did make some lifestyle changes. Looked at, participated in Weight Watchers, lost some weight doing that, and
Mhm.
uh, just trying to reverse some of those things before it became a chronic issue.
And you know what? It also speaks to a lot of times people think, well, just because mama had it, grandma had it, daddy had it, it's both sides of the
Yeah,
family.
yeah,
People
yeah.
think you have to have it. But what I hear you saying is not necessarily.
That is what you hear me saying. That's exactly what you hear me saying. I have already outlived my mom. She died at 59 of heart disease. Her
Mhm.
mother died at 29 of a heart attack while she was nursing my mom at 9 months old.
Wow.
My siblings died, all but one died in their late 50s, early 60s for my sister. And then my brother, who died maybe 10 years after that, had significant health issues as his heart. It was his heart.
Mhm.
My dad had prostate and colon cancer. He was diagnosed with uh, colon cancer in his 50s. So I'm
Wow.
a high risk. Oh, forgot to tell you that benefit. Went for my first colonoscopy. I had six scary polyps. And
Mhm.
after being plant based for 5 years, I went for my colonoscopy and not one polyp was found.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like I said, we are what we eat. What you put in your mouth, it impacts our health so much so. You use some terms that I want to make sure people understand. You talked about being plant based. We hear plant based, we hear vegan, we hear vegetarian. Can you differentiate the three and let us know
Sure.
what are
Okay, so let's start off with vegan. My
they? Okay.
husband and I were vegan the first, I think, 5, 6 years we were completely vegan. Vegan means no meat products, no dairy, no eggs, no honey. So we chose like maple instead of honey. Some people who are vegan, they do it for not just the health reasons, but also thinking about our environment and
Mhm.
sustainability and things of that nature. And so we were vegan so we found egg replacements. There are things you can do for egg replacement and all of that. So uh, vegetarian, and there are different types of vegetarianism. Okay, so there's a vegetarian, no meat products, no seafood products or fish,
Mhm.
but vegetarian, some of them may have cheese and dairy or eggs, or you'll find some that no dairy, but they have eggs. So it's just a matter of, what's best for your body. And I always
Mhm.
tell people it's a matter of what's best for you and how you feel. You have to start listening to your body
Yes.
and really know when I eat certain things, I feel good. And when I eat certain things, I don't
Mhm.
feel so good physically or mentally. And so it's a matter of that. So when someone says they're plant based, it's the same thing. Plant based, I eat plant based, but some people will have eggs or they may have dairy. So for me, what we've done the first 5 years, we were vegan. So that was no dairy, no cheese, just plants, beans, legumes, things of that nature.
Mhm.
And then after that, we actually have added eggs back into our diet.
Mm.
And so I want to let people know why I did that.
I
I
was
was
going
having
to
a
ask.
hard time in the evening. I would get home late from work,
Mhm.
and because I was concerned about my blood sugar and wanted to make sure that I was not having blood sugar spikes. So even if you're not diabetic, blood sugar spikes are bad for your body,
Mhm.
physically,
Mhm.
your physical body, and your mental self as well.
Right.
So I was trying to find, okay, what food could I eat that would be filling, that would not spike the blood sugar? And so I made a decision to go back on eggs. So a good egg white omelet, some
Mm-hmm.
vegan with all the vegetables that you want in there, whatever you got in your refrigerator, you could throw in there. So a little broccoli, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, vegan cheese, and then some sliced avocado. And it was filling. I got some good protein. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I made a decision to include eggs back into my diet. I was just looking for a quick, delicious protein that was low in fat, that I could use in the evening when I would get home late and wouldn't have a chance to kind of work off, whatever I was
Right.
eating. And so I think it's a matter of, like I said before, you got to do what's best for your body. Veganism does not work for everybody. I know some people who have attempted to become vegan, and it didn't completely work for their bodies. The problem most of the time is the variety. You have to have a variety of vegetables and
Mm-hmm.
beans and different types of food. And it's people look at it as being restrictive, but oh my goodness, there's so many vegetables and fruits that you can have, that I don't look at it that way. Maybe in the beginning I did, because I didn't know a whole lot about recipes and different things
Mm-hmm.
I could eat. But now it is just the now with the internet and being able to get all of these good recipes that are vegan or vegetarian. I mean, it's like the sky is the limit. I can make a vegan cheesecake. I can make a vegan pecan pie.
Okay, so next time you do, just call me. I'll come over. You may need a sample. I need to validate that this is good. Those are two desserts I like. And I'm not a real dessert person, but you named two that I like. I think part of it too is being open to trying new things. Like
Yeah.
we have our standard vegetables we eat, and I like vegetables. I grew up eating vegetables. I've liked them always, so it's not. And I've not been a big meat eater, so that's not an issue. And I will say, like, oh, I love asparagus, and I get ew, or Brussels sprouts. You eat what? Oh, you eat weird. you know, and us being open to try new things, too, and things that just because somebody might think it's weird, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you eat it, and we try new things. And I like to try different, types of vegetables and fruits. There's still some I haven't tried. I've seen. I wonder. And I'll tell you one thing I also have learned. I don't know how to pick. If I've never eaten it, I don't know how to pick it. So I wanted to try using beets, just incorporating fresh beets
Right.
into my
Uh-huh.
diet. Well, I can go to the grocery store. I don't know what's a good or bad beet. Should it be soft, should it be hard, all of these things. So what I did, I went to there's a local small farmers market here in Arlington. So I went there and I said, I want to buy beets, but I don't know how. And I got my lesson on beets and what it should look like. Da da da. Go get this one. I said, I don't want to get one because I don't know what I'm doing. Well, the person actually said, you can do this and this and this and this. So, you take time because I did want to learn. So it was great that she was telling me things. So we have to learn to, I think, kind of get out of our comfort zone when we do want to eat more plant based or be more healthy. Go find out.
Exactly. Exactly. You're exactly right. And your taste buds change too over time.
Mhm.
I remember growing up, my mom trying to force me to eat Brussels sprouts and spinach. Those were two vegetables I did not like. And sometimes she would mix some spinach in with some different type of greens. But man, I take a taste. I could tell that spinach was in there, and I just was not interested. Now, Brussels, if someone had told me 20 years ago that my eyes would light up at Brussels sprouts, I would have said, you are crazy. And I love Brussels sprouts. I could eat them every single day. And spinach, I love spinach. And so there's some things that, you know, that have changed in what tastes good to me now.
Mhm.
And so mushrooms, I didn't grow up eating mushrooms. That's the other thing. When you grow up eating certain types of foods, and
Mhm.
some foods are just not part of what you eat. Avocados, we didn't eat avocados.
Mhm.
I didn't eat avocados until I became an adult. And so there's certain foods, asparagus, that wasn't a big vegetable.
Yeah.
And some of it comes from the cost as well. You
Hmm.
know, if you grow up poor, a lot of times you're buying what's, least expensive.
Right.
So there's some things that's just not on the menu for your family. And so some vegetables I just was not introduced to. And so
And
I had,
depending on what neighborhood you're in
yeah,
some neighborhood, not even just food deserts, but what stores will put in, oh, they don't want this in this neighborhood, but
yeah,
you're not being offered. So depending on what zip code you're in, asparagus, for instance, may not be an option.
that's exactly right.
You
You're
don't see
exactly
it, so you don't know unless you go to the other side of town.
right.
Right. So yeah, a lot of times, this is where racism and redlining can impact your health. It can impact what
Exactly.
you are offered to eat. And I have seen it in stores in different neighborhoods where you go, well, asparagus, for instance, is not going to be there. It's hard to find brown rice in some
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
that's exactly right.
So, we can blame certain demographics like our people for not eating healthy, but if this is where I have to shop and I don't have a car, so I'm going to the closest grocery store
That's
in my
right.
neighborhood, these are my options. So sometimes it is hard, just depending on your demographics and your income. You're right. It might not be offered to you.
And
Um,
I'm so glad you brought up transportation.
mhm.
That's something that most of us, don't think about because, most of us, we have transportation. But when I grew up and where I grew up, there are people who didn't have like transportation. We would have to wait for somebody to come by who had a car
Mhm.
to take us to the grocery store. So sometimes the closest one was like the neighborhood store who they never had the freshest
Mhm.
vegetables. The few that they had, they never had the freshest meat. And so sometimes we'd have to take a taxi to the market. And then we had something called jitneys in
Mhm.
Detroit where I grew up. And so they would be at the supermarket and you could pay a couple dollars and they would take you home. And so that's how we would have to get home from the market. We might take the bus there, but then get a jitney back home with our groceries. And so some people don't think about
Mhm.
that, how difficult that is, and the expense of buying the higher priced meats
Yes.
and vegetables. You just don't, you just didn't have the money to do that.
It's not always
Especially
an
a
option.
large family,
Mhm.
if you had to feed a large family. And so we grew up eating, I did, a lot of unhealthy food.
Mhm.
And so when I became an adult, that's what, that's all I knew was, to put certain meats in my beans and, and
Mhm.
vegetables. I did try to transition away from things like pork and getting smoked
Mhm.
turkey parts instead of the pork in my beans and my greens. So I was slowly turkey burger instead of a beef burger.
Mhm.
So I was already making some transitions to some healthier lifestyle
Right.
because of my family history. And I felt like it was a important decision for me to make in order to try to stay as healthy as possible. But some of these chronic diseases, there's a need to even take it up a notch, and that's what I
Right.
found. Even after making those lifestyle changes, I wasn't finding the results in eating turkey burgers
Mhm.
instead of beef burgers, putting the smoked turkey in my collard greens or my pinto beans instead of the pork. I still was having, some high blood pressure,
Mhm.
pre-diabetes type issues, and so that's why I was so ready to try
Mhm.
plant-based. I'd read about some of the benefits. And then to be honest, our daughter came home from college, announced that she was vegan. And we laughed at the girl. We were like, what in the world has she learned that spelling? So
What
we
did they do to your baby?
yes, he buying tofu, and we were like, "What is that on the counter?"
Mhm.
We had no idea that just a few years from there, that we would actually
Mhm.
be eating tofu ourselves and calling ourselves vegan, and maybe the exposure, seeing her. come
Mhm.
home from school and making those changes in her diet made us more open. Like you say, you have to be open to that. So
Mhm.
that probably provided us some comfort, knowing that, our daughter had transitioned to become a vegan, and that it was something that we had a small exposure to during the summers when she was home from
Mhm.
school. And
And you
so,
actually knew one. That's the other thing. If you don't know someone who is doing something, it's very foreign. Well, here's your daughter now. I know a vegan personally. So it can change how you view something because, like you say, she's home, she's in your house, you're seeing it. It's like she's alive, she's okay. I want to switch gears for a minute.
yeah,
We have 4 minutes left. And in the 4 minutes left, I know you know a lot about essential oils. And
uh-huh.
the reason, and it's important, we're looking at you are what you eat, but there's so many other things. I wanted you just to talk about it. So, first, tell people what essential oils are.
Okay. So in addition to the lifestyle changes I made and becoming and at deciding to transition to a plant-based diet, um, I also wanted to transition to natural solutions if I needed a natural solution for targeted areas that I needed support for. So, you know, um headaches or cold and flu season, allergies, things of that pain, and things of that nature. And so I wanted to transition to being able to use something natural. So essential oils, they come from plants. Okay. So what an essential oil is a plant has oils inside of it, could be in the leaf, in the bark, in the stem. And so these oils that go throughout the plant, they're the plant's support in case they are attacked by a pest or some type of disease. So it's protection for that plant. So essential oils are actually extracting those oils from the plant and being able to have those same benefits that it was given to the plant,
Wow.
protection for the body. And so you can use essential oils aromatically. Aromatically could be a diffuser or putting a drop in your hand, like I did just before we got on, of peppermint and inhaling. I can use it topically. I can apply it if I'm having shoulder pain. I can take the oil and rub on that shoulder. If I'm having a tummy ache, I can rub it on my tummy. And you can also use essential oils internally. Now, I do want to say this: not all essential oils are equal. So if you think you can go up to your local box store and get a bottle of peppermint and be able to get the same type of results, you're not going to get it. The essential oil and supplement market is not heavily regulated in the United
Mhm.
States. And so people are allowed to sell essential oils that say 100% pure, but they're not 100% pure. So you have to be really careful about the essential oils that you're getting. But frankincense and peppermint and tea tree, all of these oils that are coming from plants should come from their natural habitat. So it shouldn't come from the east side of Detroit in a big old field. It should come from where that plant grows naturally. And to be able to get that plant from its natural habitat, you're going to get a different chemical makeup. If I ask you, Bronwyn, would you rather have an orange from Florida or would you rather have an orange from Michigan? What would you say?
I'm going to go with Florida.
You're going to go with the Florida. That's right. And so the benefits from that is you're going to get a different type of
Mhm.
orange because of the climate that's in Florida compared to the climate that's in Michigan. So that's very important when you're using essential oils for health benefits to know where it was sourced from. Uh,
Mm.
because you can actually end up getting some synthetics or fillers in the body that could actually cause you more harm than good.
Guess what, my friends? Our time has come to an end so quickly. And I usually say, give me one final comment. That's going to have to be the final comment. But I'm glad I wanted to bring that up. So, those of you who are listening, research essential oils, and you'll see in the comments something about how you can reach LaVerne and find out about essential oils. Examine your diet. If you're not ready to be vegan, plant based, or a vegetarian, take some meat out of your diet. And if you're not ready to do that, add some vegetables in. But if you want to make a change, do both. Um, so hopefully tonight you can think about what you put in your body, because what you put into your body affects your physical and mental health. We didn't get to talk about it, but it does. So I am Bronwyn Miss B, the Black Couch Therapist, and I am here to help you become a better you. And LaVerne, in 10 seconds, what would you like to say?
I would like to tell people it is totally worth it to change your diets and prevent some of these preventable illnesses that our community is dying from. It's not necessary, and we don't have to live that same life that our parents and grandparents lived. We can totally do this with food. Food is medicine.
Awesome. I will see everyone next week.